All right, you guys got me so excited I forgot to change my slides, and I know it's not a big deal in here, but for those at home, I may be freaking out. So how do they affect title? They affect it by reduces your right of disposition. That's what we were just talking about. Your first mortgage records a claim, establishes a right to be paid first, hence first lien. All right. When they sell the property, or if they go in default, they get first money through like a short sale. A second mortgage could come in, but a second only gets paid after the first gets paid. Third gets paid after a second gets paid after the first gets paid. So here we go. There's the question. How much is a $100,000 house worth if it's $200,000 liens placed on it? I'm sorry, it's not a trick question. I was literally asking you, what's a $100,000 house worth if there's $200,000 worth of liens? Right. Worth virtually zero, right? Because you can't clear the liens. When you guys would order a title search through your abstractor or your underwriter and you get the title work back, it's going to show $200,000 worth of active liens. 100 to the first, 50 to the second, 25 to some third, 25 to the fourth, and you can play that game all the way. So this basically keeps the seller from selling the property. Now, there is a note here, and I told you this earlier because this actually happened to me in real life. Obviously, you can't sell the property without bringing money to the table. Because I had that with the guy that I remember I told you about that I said I would never really truly admit that I might have been slightly less right than I should have been. When we ordered the title work the day we got the purchase agreement, found out that he had misled me. Remember that? And I said he had to bring like $2,100 to the table. That's what I'm talking about. If he didn't have any money, let's say he had no money because times were tough, he lost his job, 2009. We couldn't close that house, and he couldn't sell it because he had more liens on it than virtually it was worth. We'd have had to try some other maneuver of a short sale or something. So barring the fact that in this example here, sure, the seller could bring $100,000 to the table and sell the property. But what I'm talking about is without him bringing other money to the table, if you've got more liens than value on the property, you actually are value zero because you can't transfer it. Now, you guys don't know, but you haven't taken the real estate course, but in the value is one of the things we talk about in real estate. And one of the 4 ways that manipulates value is this thing called transferability. How easy is the property to transfer? Demand, utility, scarcity, and transferability are the 4 things. Transferability means how easy is it to transfer the property from one person to the other? Well, if it's $200,000 worth of liens on $100,000 house, barring bringing $100,000, we're not counting that, it's very hard to transfer. Therefore, that value is virtually zero on that property. Okay? All right, let's talk a little bit about underwriters. What? Okay, sure. No, what I'm saying is, obviously, he asked about bringing $100,000 to the table. What I'm saying is, it's possible for a seller to bring money to a table like my guy did, right? You get what I'm saying? Okay, let me go through this. I had a seller. Let's say he owed $95,000. Let's say he owed $100,000. Now, wait a second. I'm going to stop. Everybody take a deep breath. Even though people at home, I'm sorry. Let's make it very simple. Let's say my guy owed $105,000 and someone offered him $100,000 to buy the property. Is $100,000 less than $105,000? Yes. So theoretically, we can't sell the house, right? Right. But if the seller paid $5,000 at closing to the 105, then he could. And that's what I'm talking about. In this example here on page where it says he owes 100 or it's worth 100, he owes 200, this is exactly what I'm talking about. He can't sell the house. He's upside down, right? Because his house is only worth 100 and he's got 200 on it. Huh? I don't know. Make up a story. You want to know how he got 200 on it? It's a good question. That's a good question. How do you get $200,000 lien? Let's assume he didn't pay for something. He's got a mechanic's lien, and they filed a valid lien. Maybe he's got real estate taxes, hasn't paid his homeowners association. I don't know, whatever. But somehow he has managed to accrue $200,000 worth of liens. Think of a lien like an IOU. He's got $100,000 in his hand, i.e. the value of the house, but he has $200,000 in IOUs. You see what I'm getting at? You can't do that. Right. Yeah, he can do that, and that's what I'm saying. Or he could bring $100,000. He could add $100,000 to that. Am I speaking English? Is this on? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just kidding with you, David. You know that. Right. Now you got it. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Without bringing money to the table, can't do the deal. That's what causes us to bring money to the table. Good? Woo! All right. All right.